It's back in Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
And that's why the Most High against you damn devils, man. Y'all jacked up our people, man. Our people don't know their butt from their head, man. All our people know is wickedness, man. And more wickedness. And good at it, too. Better than you damn devils, man. And you don't turn the people against you. How about you now, Shah? When I was coming up, you never even heard of black atheists, man. Now you got, you know, not black, but so-called black. You got Native American Spanish, you know, now they don't even believe in the higher power, man. That was unheard of. Even though...
That was a gunshot?
Oh, yeah, that was gunshots. Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, that was gunshots.
Gunshots.
Yep. Hey, let's wrap up. Yeah, let's wrap up. Hey, get the.
They might run up through here.
And crackheads. Crackheads do what crackheads do. You got it, bro.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Radash. Secondly, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and righteousness and in sincerity. And third of all, I want to give salutations to the hopeful elect that's out on the highways and byways teaching and preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. The title of this lesson is going to be, When All Hell Breaks Loose, the Lord's Men Will Be Silent. Once again, when all hell breaks loose, the Lord's men will be silent. You know, and as you've seen in that clip at the beginning of this lesson, you had the brothers from Charlotte, you know, out on the highways and byways, you know, preaching the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And, you know, within that time of them being out there preaching the word, they ended up hearing gunshots, you know, pretty much right down the street, you know. And how did they react to that situation? You know, the brother that was speaking, you know, and the other brothers around, you know, they were like, let's go, you know, let's wrap it up. And, you know, they were using wisdom because who knows what could come from that situation? Like the brother that was speaking said, they might run over here, you know, who knows what could happen? And you know, operating within that spirit, you know, that humble spirit, like, you know, not being proud, like, you know, forget them, you know, we just go do whatever, you know, we just go stand out here and preach no matter what's going on, you know, that's pride, you know, because the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord operates, you know, through wisdom and, you know, understanding. So if you understand that there's danger in the area, you know, using the wisdom and the understanding of the Lord, you know, you're gonna flee from that situation. You know, you're gonna try to get away from that situation so that you can ensure and prevent yourself from being caught up in whatever that situation is, you know, so that you can ensure that you're not, you know, intertwined within that situation. You know, you've seen other camps, you know, we've seen other camps in the past, you know, the Palestine, you know, protests and stuff like that. You know, you've seen other Israelite camps, you know, go up and preaching the word, you know, and preaching against those people, you know, when it's a dangerous situation in itself, having all of those people. And, you know, the Lord, you know, showed his displeasure in them doing that, you know, because it was a big old ball of confusion, you know. I'm sure brothers know what I'm talking about, you know. I forgot what Israelite camp that was, but you had the Palestinians, you know, protesting in the streets, and you had those Israelites, you know, they came down there, you know, and they were preaching and basically rebuking those people that were preaching for, you know, the freedom of their people, you know, and just preaching for their people in general, you know. The Lord doesn't want us doing that. You know, the Lord wants us to be focused on waking up the flock, you know, preaching to the elect. So, you know, when dangerous situations come, you know, we leave. You know, the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, we be at that number. You know, the men of the Lord, you know, they're going to leave when danger comes. You know, they're not just going to stay there and, you know, just be like, you know, I don't care. You know, it is what it is. You know, I'm invincible. Nothing can happen to me. You know, they're not going to be moving in that spirit, you know, because the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they have that humble spirit within them, you know. There's no telling, you don't know for sure if the Lord might, you know, save you or not, you know. So we should never be operating within that untouchable, you know, nothing can happen to me because I'm preaching the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai spirit, you know. We're supposed to pray and have faith that we will be protected and guided and that no weapon formed against us will prosper. But in dangerous situations like that, you know, the spirit of the Lord, you know, through the spirit of the Lord, you know, we're supposed to evade those dangerous situations, you know, do everything that we can to prevent ourselves from being put within those dangerous circumstances, you know. But this is the book of Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 3, and it reads, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Right. A prudent man. What does the word prudent mean? It says subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly, sensible. Shrewd, sensible, prudent. Now, let's grab this in the Google dictionary. It says acting with or showing care or thought for the future. Right. Like the brother said, you know, that was speaking after they heard the gunshots. He was like, they might run over here, you know. So he was like, yeah, you know, let's wrap it up, you know. And that was him being prudent, you know, him showing care for the future, you know, because he could have just not cared and, you know, didn't worry about what could happen in the future from them staying out there, you know. And something, who knows, something could have popped off, you know. But they were operating within the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, so they foreseen the future, you know. They were able to analyze the situation and see that it wasn't wise for them to stay out there, and they acted accordingly. You know, it says sensible. Let's grab that word, sensible. It says of a statement or concourse of action chosen in accordance with wisdom or prudence. Right. Likely to be of benefit. So literally they were using the wisdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you know, that guided them, you know, in their benefit from that situation, you know, because those brothers didn't get caught up in that situation, so it benefited them. You know, anything could have happened. They could have got questioned by the police, you know, just from being in that area, you know, and then some other stuff could have, who knows what could have happened from them staying out there. But they were being prudent, you know, they were being wise, they were analyzing the situation and being humble, you know, not feeling like Superman, you know, and they, you know, made that wise decision to leave, you know. It says, and hideth himself. Right, they hid themselves. You know, they wrapped up and went back home. And it says, but the simple pass on and are punished. Right. Like that example that I was talking about, you know, earlier, those Israelites in, you know, I forgot exactly what camp that was. But they went down there at that protest, you know, and they were rebuking those protesters. And those protesters pretty much rose up against him. You know, they were throwing water bottles, all kind of stuff was going on, you know, and that kind of stuff can bring blame upon the truth. That kind of stuff can make us look like, you know, a barbaric, you know, evil people. You know, all of the images that they try to paint upon Jake, you know, acting in that way, you know, doing those kind of things, you know, it can help them have more ammo and have more, you know, things to lie on us about, you know, to bring blame upon the ministry, you know, to demonize us, you know, call us the problem, you know, the troublemakers, you know, the problem starters, you know, and that's not who we are. We are the problem solvers, and this kingdom is a big problem, you know, and the only way to solve this problem is by preaching the 100% truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, so that the elect sheep, you know, the sheep of Yahweh Shai, you know, so that they can be risen up, you know, so that they can be awakened and sealed for salvation. And from there on, Yahweh Shai will come back and destroy this kingdom right along with the angels and the elect, you know, gather all of the nations and, you know, build up the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, you know. That's the only way that this problem will be solved, by preaching to the sheep, you know, waking up the flock, you know, guiding them in the right direction, you know, not worrying about Palestine and protesters over there or anything else that's going on that's not gonna edify the elect, you know. Now, we can make videos on that situation, them protesting and edify, but you going down there and putting yourself in harm's way, that's not wise. You know, that's not you being prudent. You being prudent is you seeing what can come from you already being the face of hate, being a so-called black man, you know, Israelites in general, you know, being the hated nation, you know, and you going down there as the hated nation, putting yourself in harm's way, protesting, or, you know, preaching against what the protesters down there were saying, you know, rebuking them. You know, that's just not wise, you know. But in this situation, the clip at the beginning of the lesson, you know, those brothers 100% handled that situation correctly. You know, they foreseen, you know, what could come from them staying out and continuing to preach. So that was a prudent work. You know, that was them being prudent, you know, because by what they seen possible in the future, you know, they decided to leave, you know, because of what they seen, you know, possibly could happen, you know. So, like, yeah, the way that I wanted to say that, it didn't come out how I wanted to say it. But, you know, pretty much what they were thinking could happen, you know, it caused them to use that wisdom and be humble and just, you know, wrap it up and leave, you know, and not be proud and feel like you're, you know, untouchable, you know, because you're doing the work of the Lord, you know, because anything can happen. And this is the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 13, and it reads, "Therefore the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time." Right. Once again, the prudent, you know, those who foresee the future, you know, and they act according to what they foresee in the future, you know. So what's coming in the future, you know, is more and more evils, you know, worse and worse evils, you know. They're going to continue to grow worse and worse, you know. And that's why the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai will be taken out of this place, you know. The Lord is going to stop his men from preaching, you know. And it's just going to be time to have faith and to, you know, endure, you know. Endure all of the trials and tribulations, all of the scenarios that we're going to go through in Jacob's trouble, you know, all of the miracles, you know, the Lord dealing on a whole nother level. You know, it's going to be a completely different scenario when all hell breaks loose. But the men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are no longer going to be on the highways and byways teaching and preaching the word. So that situation was a good example of what the men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in unison will do when all hell breaks loose. You know, the men that are operating, you know, with prudence, you know, with the wisdom and the humility of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you know, they are going to keep silence in that day, you know, and it's just going to be them and their power, you know, and all those who forsook these words, you know, all those who chose to do other things, you know, they are going to be caught with their pants down, you know, with no hope of salvation. It says, seek good and not evil, that ye may live. Right. So seeking this truth while we still have it, you know, watching the lessons, you know, being humble and receiving correction and rebukes, you know, not being a old dog that can't learn new tricks, you know, allowing the Lord to lead you to that water and you drinking of it, you know, not being stubborn, saying I can find my own water, you know, these things, you know, will lead you to life, you know, and not death. And it says, and so the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the power of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. Right. So the Lord is going to be with those men that are keeping silence and being prudent, and ultimately that are of the elect in the day of trouble. You know, when all hell breaks loose, when the grid gets shut down, you know, that power cut off, that water stopped running, you know, that heat stopped working, you know, when the food trucks, all of the truck driving businesses shut down, you know, they stopped running, imports stopped coming in, you know, when all of these things happen, and they're going to happen, you know, quickly, one by one, you know, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are going to be protected and guided, you know, and delivered because they were being prudent, because they were following the laws. Well, not because the law, statutes, and commandments won't save us, but they were following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, you know, using faith, you know, because faith, we are saved by faith, you know, and through that faith produces works, and those works are righteous works, you know, because if you have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you are having faith in a righteous power, and the only way to please that power through your works is by showing righteous works, you know, and those righteous works are of the law, statutes, and commandments. So naturally, the men that have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai are going to practice those law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. You know, it's just a natural thing. But, you know, they're going to be doing these things. And because they're doing these things right now, you know, and they're going to be doing these things in the time of trouble, you know, praying to the Lord, seeking the Lord, trusting in the Lord, you know, not trusting in themselves and throwing the Lord to the side, you know. And because they're going to be doing those things, they are going to be guided. They're going to be protected, you know. The Lord will be with them, like it says at the end of verse 14, you know. But that was the point of the lesson, you know. That clip at the beginning of the lesson, you know, those brothers handled that situation beautifully, you know. And it was a good example of what how the Spirit of the Lord is going to move in the day when all hell breaks loose, you know. In that time when it's not wise anymore to preach this truth on the highways and byways or on the networks, you know. Who knows how it's going to be? You know, Esau might make it to where we can't even post lessons online anymore. You know, we can't make videos online anymore. And, you know, I'm sure if he was to do that, you know, it would go hand in hand with him you know, not allowing us to go out on the highways and byways, you know? So whichever one comes first, you know, the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai are going to use that prudence, you know. So if they not letting, you know, if they not letting, you know, us upload lessons online, everybody's stuff getting taken down, they completely trying to silence the word, we obviously know it's not wise to continue to go out and preach the word on the highways and byways, especially if we were to do that and we started seeing, you know, those men that's going out being persecuted, you know, on a higher level, extremely higher level, you know, those are signs, you know, that the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai are going to use prudence, you know, through, you know, seeing the future, what going out and preaching within these circumstances might cause, you know, and they're going to keep silence, you know, because Esau is about to come down with that great wrath because his time is getting shorter and shorter, and he knows it, you know. Every day is one day closer to our enemy Esau Edom's kingdom falling, you know, and Yahweh Shai's, you know, kingdom rising up eternally, never falling, you know. But that was the point of this lesson, you know, and I hope you brothers and sisters was edified and that the point was brought out clearly, you know. When all hell breaks loose, it is going to be a time of silence, you know, a time to just trust in the guidance of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you know. That's not going to be the time to continue to preach the word. And that situation in that video clip shows the Spirit of the Lord working in a time of trouble, you know, through his men, you know. And the Lord caused his men, you know, to get up out of there. You know, Lord willing, we all be at that number, and those brothers, you know, in Charlotte, you know, Lord willing, they be at that number as well and be delivered out of this place. But they were operating within the Spirit, you know, and therefore they, using that prudence, they wrapped up early and got, you know, out of that dangerous situation. But until next time, shalom.